Hello there folks, how you doing? We've got a bit of a Eldar mirror today. I hope you enjoyed the Space Marine mirror I'm going to have posted by the time that this gets uploaded. I don't know whether you've enjoyed it or not, which is why I'm saying I bloody hope you did, because now I'm doing an Eldar mirror. But I think it's cool sometimes to take some high level games and do a bit of a deep dive on how the mirrors typically function. The really beautiful thing in this game is that we've actually got a hard mirror. Two Farseers on either side. Now, so far they are actually mirroring builds for one another. You will see a little bit, well actually, I feel like there's quite a lot of variation that you can go with in an Eldar mirror. You can literally not get any Banshees, because if you have enough focus fire from Guardians, you can deal with the Banshees pretty easy in Tier 1. Rangers are pretty good against Banshees as well in Tier 1. Now, historically, when Rangers did more damage per shot, rather than having triple long rifles and being more of a DPS unit, the Rangers they basically dominate the matchup, because they bleed the relatively expensive models of the Eldar. Thing is now, things are a little bit different. The Eldar aren't quite as expensive, the Rangers aren't really as good at bleeding. They're good at long range DPS and winning firefights, but not as good at bleeding. And even when they were bleed based, a problem that you had historically was the Rangers couldn't do anything against an energy shield from the Guardians. I don't know, it'd take maybe 15 shots or something absurd with the slower energy rifles of old, long rifles of old, to take down an energy shield. Not very useful.
We stand upon newly gained ground.
But it was a bit of a back and forth, because will you get your energy shields in the correct position? You know, energy shields got nerfed. They require more energy to actually deploy now on your Guardians. Are you using that energy for grenades? Are you using it for fleet? If you fuck up your positioning of your energy shield, you're going to get abused by Rangers. But in spite of all of that, it appears that we're going to be having Rangers dominating this mirror again. Now, on the Banshees, one final thing I will say, the reason why you see the Banshees, even though they're not very impactful in Tier 1, is because in Tier 2, they are very impactful. Remember, when the Banshees get their Exarch in Tier 2, when they activate Fleet with the Exarch, they only take half damage from ranged attacks. Then you can add in the Scorpion Shield passive ability from the Autarch, which gives even more damage resistance to ranged attacks in an AoE, and suddenly your Banshees in Tier 2 are going to be shrugging off the attacks of the Rangers with ease. So double Rangers here for Jones. Jones has got 2 generators right now versus the 3 for Kickin, and perhaps that is why he is getting his Rangers later. No, not necessarily. Kickin could actually, I was going to say, could be going for another Ranger, but he isn't. Well, he is now. So indeed, double Rangers it is going to be for both of our Eldar players here. Now we do see the Spirit Stones as well on the Farseer. That could be quite useful actually now in the mirror. Now that the Rangers are more about high DPS, but they're not necessarily bleeding models, because obviously they've now got 3 long rifles, so it means they all shoot different models. They do more damage technically in a set period of time. They do more DPS, but less damage per hit. You can see the effect. They're not killing models, so the heal from the Spirit Stones could be quite useful. And I guess that actually makes the Banshees a lot better, especially in instances like that where they just charge down the middle with Fleet of Foot. And with Jones having his own Banshees on the other side of the map over this way, there wasn't really any counterplay there. Jones just going to be using his Farseer on the sidelines. Yeah, not really much to commentate here, just a lot of skirmishing back and forth with the Rangers. Potentially like to see some energy shield usage. We do see the battle equipment upgrade here on the Guardians. No further upgrades yet for the Farseers. Jones's Farseer just running around capping the map. Now the Ranger fights in Old were a lot more frenetic, I'd probably describe it as. Because the damage came out in bursts, right? These guys should probably retreat. Yeah, they don't want to be bleeding models unnecessarily. But now that the Rangers aren't as bursty, you see a lot of shots going in on each other here with the Rangers and not actually bleeding any models. Farseer gonna have to retreat here. Yeah, she's getting chained knockback. Can't really do too much there against the Banshees. Do have the Rangers rotating. Pew pew. Again, no bleed though. Kickin relatively conservative here with his Banshee usage. And Jones is going to start his tier 2 tech. Kickin's really not far off. Looking at about 8 power or so. You've seen the heal go off on the Banshees there. I like that Spirit Stone's heal actually. I think that would be pretty good in this matchup. A little bit of a slow reaction there from Kickin on the Plasma Grenade. Did hit a couple of the Banshees, but no kills. And the Rangers here just going to do a bit of a harass, no model kills on the Guardians, but force them off. They'll have to spend a little bit of time in base healing. So how will the players deal with this in tier 2? Look, Warp Spiders are going to be very good at ripping up the Rangers from afar. Like I said, you've got damage resistance from the Autarch, you've got the damage resistance on the Exarch from the Banshees. Now if there was a Warlock, you could get additional damage resistance via the Cloak of Shadows. Unfortunately, there is no Warlock here. You've got the Spirit Stones. What else could you get? You could get the Armour of Fortune, put the Armour of Fortune on the Banshees, get more damage resistance that way.
New warriors are available to join the battle. We are losing.
I don't really feel like there's too much else. I guess you could get the Gravity Blade to try and control the enemy Banshees. I wonder if it's going to be Wraithlord or Falcons. Probably Wraithlords. Because otherwise the combination of Warp Spiders with a Haywire Grenade into a Bright Lance Wraithlord would cause a lot of problems for a Falcon. I also feel like going for a Falcon and then getting a Bright Lance to try and kill an enemy Wraithlord would be difficult, given the dual Rangers going around, which might find it quite easy to pick off an immobile Bright Lance. But we're not seeing any tier 2 purchases being made yet. Let's have a look at the eco. They easily have the eco. I'm not sure what's going on. They're probably waiting for one another to make a decision so that they can make some sort of counterplay. But I think it's relatively obvious what to do here. Just get Warp Spiders and a Wraithlord. The order of which you get them doesn't really matter too much. Might be a potential kill here from the Banshees onto the Guardians. Goes for the guide. Unfortunately, this model here was too far away. This Banshee never got a shot off, but wow. Ranger shots go in. And what was that? Was that 2 HP or 1 HP? I don't know, but it was very, very low. Very low. Literally one more shot with the long rifles would have killed that Guardian. And Jones is going to be opting for the Falcon. Warp Spiders instead for Kickin. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm struggling to envisage how a Falcon can deal with the combination of Warp Spiders plus a Wraithlord into an Autarch. And that's a pretty good generic build anyway, except against maybe Space Marines. The Autarch buffs up all your shit. Really nice support abilities with the range DR, with the heal and damage boost when she jumps in. She's good for map control. You've got tremendous amounts of piercing DPS here coming from your Warp Spiders and soft AV. And the snare on the Haywire Grenade then sets up your Wraithlord with the Bright Lance shoulder mounted to deal with any vehicular threats. The Wraithlord also provides you with more anti-melee. The Warp Spiders are decent anti-melee because they can teleport away from melee threats. It's just a good build. Wait, is this serious? Does he actually want double Falcons, or is this an Overwatch mistake? How can he afford double Falcons, man? That's 180 power. I don't know what time it is. You guys will know. but this seems kind of crazy that he's got, you know, 1990 and then another 54 going up quickly in power. It feels like the game hasn't been going on that long for him to have such a crazy amount of resources. He's got the double falcon and he's moving them both back. What the hell is this shit? Is he waiting for some sort of like alpha strike on the Wraith Lord? Maybe. This is so weird. What are you doing, Jones? So maybe that is the plan. Look, you've got to remember, walkers are slower than transports, and walkers obviously can't retreat like all vehicles. So perhaps what Jones is trying to do here is trying to bait the Wraith Lord to overcommit. Holy shit, guys, he's getting a third Falcon right now. He can how can he even afford that? I don't even want to talk about the logic of whether that's good or bad. How can he afford 3 Falcons? That's 90 power each. That's 270 power in total. That's absolutely insane. He hasn't even built a 4th generator. It's crazy. I don't get it. I mean, he didn't get any upgrades on the Farseer. He did get the Exarch and the Aspect on the Banshees. I don't know. Triple Falcons is now going to be moving out. Use the Webway Gate ability, yep, for the speed boost and the infiltration, and then they're all going to potentially open up fire on the Wraith Lord. The Wraith Lord is getting its Bright Lance though, so this is a little scary, but where are the spiders? Okay, the spiders are in a terrible position. They're over here on the minimap. You can see they're rotating over to the natural VP of Kickin here. Oh, this is an absolutely horrendous engagement here from Jones. What is he doing? Oh, man. He really screwed up the timing push there. Because now the spiders are here. And where's this infiltration come from? Oh, Hollowfield from the Rangers, of course. So there's the Haywire. Wraith Lord obviously should be focus firing the snared Falcon, which has now got Doom on it as well from the Farseer. No, it's going into range stance. Why? Oh, Jesus Christ, Kickin. Why would you go into range stance, man? Just hunt it down. You've got fire on the move. Well. I don't know what to say, guys. I gotta be blunt. Both of the players there were executed abysmally. That was absolutely awful. All 3 of the Falcons path blocking each other here, and then the one at the front rotating around while the other 2 are trying to drive through, so they all got fucking stuck. Swapping into range stance when he had it snared. Falcons move slower than any other transport, but they're not any more durable. They're only 500 HP. He'd hit the Haywire. The Falcon had exposed its arse, which was a misplay on his opponent's behalf. But rather than forcing melee, he went into range stance and let it slip away, even after he doomed it. Unbelievable. But hey, it creates an even game, right? I mean, this is an incredible meme. I don't think I've ever seen Triple Falcon in years, if ever in my life. Never mind in an Eldar mirror. But there goes one of them. Once again, Jones really struggling to micro the Triple Falcons, constantly failing to reverse them and showing his rear armor, which is rather odd. And then he gets a Bright Lance, which seems... I mean, I don't know, man. You've got Triple Falcons. Is that not enough ranged AV? At least he did by the time he got the Bright Lance. And the thing with the Bright Lance is they're going to constantly be very vulnerable to harassment from the Rangers, which is why I was thinking Wraith Lord with a Bright Lance and Haywire is probably a better bet. Because I don't think you really want to be relying on the Bright Lance too much. Now the Guardians of Kickin there winning out the fight, but going to have to back off thanks to the Banshees approaching. A lot of resources for Kickin. Be interesting to see what he does, God knows at this point. Obviously you could just get another Wraith Lord. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. You know, match your opponent's vehicle count. Wraith Lords with Bright Lance can 1v1 a Falcon. Like, there's no doubt about it, they will win the 1v1. So the guided Bright Lance is going to deter the Wraith Lord The Warp Spider's jumping again. That's another haywire. Banshees are on the Falcon, getting a little bit of heavy melee damage. And this is why the Gravity Blade could be potentially good on the Farseer. But it looks like the Falcon's going to get away in spite of the jump there to try and buff the Banshees. Baiting them back into the base turret. It's going to survive the Falcon. Survive the Falcon? Going to help the Falcon to survive. A little bit slow, I suppose, to rotate the Wraith Lord back forward. VP is very low. I'm not really sure why these Guardians aren't deploying energy shields. That would make a lot of sense. Maybe they are now. Yeah. Good. So that's going to be really hard to push against. It's going to require a melee unit, basically. Ooh, and they'll be able to hold off the Rangers for a very long time, which will be good for Kickin. Let's actually have a look at that. I've not seen how resilient the energy shields are once you once the long rifles got changed. Now they're using their infiltration here to get the decap, but of course once the decap's finished they reveal themselves, got to retreat. The Guardians really ought to be getting out their energy shield here and putting some pressure on, but instead we've got a bit of a alpha attack right here on the Falcons, which we're preparing to come up the rear. Oh man. Once again, we're seeing this Wraith Lord just in range stance. I mean, it's going to work here because the Falcons were in just completely the wrong position. Jones calling GG. Is that actually GG? It's not GG, is it? He's not conceding that quick. It feels like that's been too fast as well. Oh, let's try. Yeah, why free? Yeah, I don't think Jones intended to get free. I think that was a bit of an Overwatch mistake. That's funny, man. Triple Falcons. You know, it could have been a timing push, though. The Wraith Lord was so far forward down here. That could have been all he needed. Triple Falcons should be able to take it out. Certainly with the Warp Spider's been in the wrong part of the map, but oh well, the opportunity was lost. The Falcon here should definitely be just moving forward and driving over the energy shield to destroy it. Not going to be able to cap the point otherwise. And evidently the Falcon not really doing anything right now. It's almost like it's bugged. It's not even hurting the energy shield. Warp Spider's just ignoring the Bright Lance there. Maybe could have done some good damage in retreat. But ultimately they just want to get their haywire off. Yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm really not a fan of going for the Falcons in the Eldar mirror. Not a good idea. The Banshees get it, potentially, yep. Otak's going to go down to the Rangers though. A lot of Banshee models killed too. But Jones is out of vehicles right now. Where is the Wraith Lord? Okay, the Wraith Lord's just going to chill over here by the natural. Not the natural, the contested VP. Feels like the natural because it seems like Kickin's been in control of it every time I've had a look, but that can't be the case because the VPs are actually quite even. Now, Kickin had this level of resources a long time ago. I'm not really sure what he even bought. Oh, he got the Autark, didn't he? Yeah, that was his purchase. But he's back to having more than enough resources to go tier 3 if he wanted, or to get another Wraith Lord out. Honestly, at this point, just get another Wraith Lord. Go on. But it doesn't really matter. You could go tier 3 and get some Seer Councils out super fast. That'd be good against something like Fire Dragons. In fact, that probably is the play, because he is the Farseer, so you can call them in the global way. And that's going to be faster, because you don't have to wait for a build time. It's also going to be cheaper. But he's not building anything. I mean, at this rate, he's going to have the resources for an avatar. Yet he's in tier 2.
Our reinforcements are here. Guardians have come a few. Our reinforcements are here. The schemes of fate are tangled.
I mean, I've got to say it looks awful for Jones here. I don't know what he can do. Lack of the Warp Spiders is a serious problem. I don't feel like Kickin's been using the warp spiders very well for combat, but I guess the focus has been to get them out and take out a Falcon basically every single time they're getting involved in combat, which he has done. But in general, warp spiders kind of dominate the combat in tier 2. The only thing they can't deal with on their own are vehicles. Fire dragons don't really feel like they're a great choice here, especially against double rangers. Could be a wipe on the rangers here. Can the Wraith Lord get into melee? Nope. He's been doing a lot of that, a lot of derping. And I think he just path blocked the Exact there on the Warp Spiders, which are the only model that actually does decent melee damage. A second Fire Dragon squad for Jones. Look, dude, if Jones wins this, I am gonna be amazed. Kudos to him if he does. Purely for the tenacity. Because all Kickin needs to do right now is go for Seer Council. It looks like he's saving up for a Avatar. Which is... well, I mean... it's just a terrible idea. What's the point? You've already got a Wraith Lord for a big melee walker thing. What do you need an Avatar for? Even a Prism would be great now to put pressure onto all the infantry here of Jones from a long distance, but... he's not going for that. Armor of the Azurian would be kind of no-brainer in my opinion. I think Time Field is just one of those war gears that you always get it if you can. It's just so incredibly, undescribably powerful.
We have lost the generator to enemy fire.
I mean, we're seeing Jones try. Got Webway Gates coming up. Using the ability there to infiltrate the Guardians, get them over onto the point to decap. Obviously not going to be able to take on Warp Spiders, but he gets the decap. I don't know what's going on here with the Warp Spiders. Kind of weird. So Double Fire Dragon's putting in a lot of work here. Kickin making quite a serious mistake. Why is the Farseer not tying up the other Fire Dragon squad? Oh my god, Kickin. Well, he just had the Farseer and the Wraith Lord attack the same Fire Dragon, so the other one was free to shoot. All he had to do was have the Farseer attack one of them, and have the Wraith Lord attack the other. Why are these guys bugged? These rangers here are apparently bugged, they can't move. That's, not really making much sense to me. Eh? How? That's really weird. I've never seen that before. I can't even think about why that would be the case. Are they shooting as well? Weird. So, Kickin is just going to hard buy the Seer Council. I mean, he could have actually got them out about 10 years ago. With a global, and he has so much resources right now in terms of red. Well, in terms of everything, if we're being honest, I'm not really sure what the plan was there. Why not just use the global, get him in sooner? What was that? Oh shit, the Banshees of Jones just got wiped. Oh, he's so screwed. What can he do? Seer Council is now coming out. Kickin's got so much resources he can nearly afford an Avatar even after the hard buy Seer Council. What are you going to do? He's literally got 1/3 of the VPs that Kickin has as well. Yeah, not really going to work, is it? Not really going to work. Guys, Eldar are getting weird these days. Triple Falcon Eldar.
The enemy is claiming a victory point. Our Aztec warriors have fallen to the enemy.
That's so weird with the ranges. What could possibly cause that bug? Bizarre.
We trust in your guidance.
We do what we must. One of our structures, as it was stated.
John's just gonna go for a Wraith Lord. I mean, this is ridiculous. Just why at this point? I think he, you know, when he initially said GG, I think that was definitely premature. He had reason to play on. This is a bit ridiculous right now. When you're this low on VPs, you're getting triple capped. I guess he doesn't realize that Kickin has enough resources for a super unit. But hey, at least we got to see triple fucking Falcon. I don't, you know, I was saying at the beginning, it's nice to see some high-level mirrors and see how that plays out in terms of meta and all that. I don't think this was it, guys. I'm sorry, I don't think this was it. We'll have to try again with the Eldar mirror sometime. This didn't count. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to live through this all again. Damn, Guided Seers and the Doom on the Wraith Lord actually taking it down. But yeah, that's gonna be no more VPs for Jones. What do I say about that game? I say that was absolutely terrible. Well done, guys. I'm glad you had us enjoy that. Brilliant. No armor of the Azurian and just this obscene float. I'm realizing now there's no pop for Kickin. Wow, really no pop? Damn, he... Oh, I guess gates. But he didn't have that many gates. He only had 3. Wow. Damn. That's a lot, isn't it, actually, when you think about it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And he's pop capped. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Torpid, signing out.